Gen Z, how do you extrapolate your passion so that it can win probably the older folk in Kenya, so that this does not look like it's just a movement of Gen Z? And in the unlikely event that there's a resentment, which we know politics can always push us back and forth, those who have been around can tell you that, to the point that it becomes a movement that there are people around you that also, we can see that it's just beyond just a Gen Z. It's also, you're a candidate for the nation. That's question number one. And again, that goes into the same question that the rest of the team have asked, that who are you working with? Because we work globally as a politics of identity. Who endorses you? Who do you work with? Who do people identify with? Because our villages identify with somebody, our politics identify with somebody, our movements, our unions, they do with that. Who is that person? So that we don't try to reinvent the wheel when I think we can pick some votes here and there. My last question
Okay.
would be on the part of
Okay,
one minute,
go
10
ahead, and
seconds,
then
10 seconds, Abdi. My last
okay.
question would be, yes, your messaging has been very clear. Even when you are asked every question, whether it's on economy, your answer has been more on the rule of law, which is really good, and we know it can solve that. But my mama in the village, once this broken down into a different language, how do you plan on working on your messaging such that it's not just about, yes, you're a chief justice, we know you are, or we talk about the law and the constitution, but how can you go beyond that so that you can message in a way that it can reach somebody in the village, such that Imboga, they don't see it in terms of a rule of law. They see it differently. How do you change your messaging? Thank you very much. And we really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Asante sana, asante sana. Now we can hand over the mic to CJ. You have a couple of questions, and please pick it up from there. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, listeners. Thank you, the commentators. Wakili Ndewa, you have expressed it extremely well. We need to obey the law. I'll come to that. Now, there is a question asked about the economy. How are we going to address the economy? There are very many aspects of the economy that we will need to address. If you have been following the news closely in the last few months and a few weeks, you must have noticed that at the time President Ruto came to power, the public debt was 8.7 trillion Kenya shillings. As we speak, it is 11.8 trillion shillings. That is an average of, he has borrowed an average of more than a trillion in each year. One of the first things I will do when I come to power is to do an audit of the public debt and find ways whether there's a way it can be restructured so that we free some money into the economy. Most of quite a huge chunk of the money that has been borrowed has been from the local banks. What does that mean when you have the government borrowing a lot of money from the local banks? The local banks are very happy to lend money to the government because there is hardly any risk of not recovering. As a result of that, the interest rates on local lending is quite high, and business people, especially the small businesses, are not able to borrow for them to run their businesses, and that is a challenge. So what among the very many things, of course, we are going to address the issues of agriculture, we are going to address issues of licensing, which take quite a long time to process. One of the major things we are going to do is to ensure that banks lower their interest rates so that they can lend to other, to business community and other people who want to take even short-term loans and be able to run the business. Of course, there are very many other aspects. You must be aware that quite a number of businesses have closed in Kenya and others are closing because of the challenges that are there. One of the major problems is the cost of power. Power is extremely costly in Kenya, and as a result of that, the industrialists are having challenges. There are other businesses which are being run in an interesting way in a monopoly. You find that like government and projects where government is involved is only a few businesses that are being given tenders to supply the services and goods to the government, and as a result of that, the other businesses are closing down. We will ensure that we have a level playground for every business so that they are able to compete to compete on a level playground. So we will address quite a number of issues on the economy. On the issue, this was more of a comment. As I have said, we are going to make sure that everybody obeys the law. What we are going to do is to ensure that nobody comes and says there is Bwana Mkubwa here. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, we will make crime so painful that you will not many people will dare to commit some of those crimes. So that's what we are going to do. What we are going to do is to ensure that we empower the bodies, the commissions, the police, the ESCC, and make sure that they enforce the law, and we stop the wastage that is there. Even wastage alone, there is a lot of wastage that we can stop and redirect the funding that goes there to other required areas where they can be able to supply services to the people. Regarding the voting or the elections, what we are having is bribery going on. I'm sure you are all aware about the so-called empowerment, economic empowerment. First of all, ask yourselves, what fraction of the Kenyan people are getting that money? And then go further and ask yourself, what can anybody do with the 10,000 shillings? It's a joke. You get people traveling from long distances, including from my own community in Kisii to State House, and they are given 10,000 shillings. That is a joke. In fact, it's an insult to the intelligence of those people. Those are the kind of things we wanted to tell the Kenyans. First of all, this is money which has been stolen from you, and you are being given that money. So don't accept, don't sell your soul for 10,000 shillings, because I'm told that's the highest they are giving. They are giving even as low as 500 shillings. It's a joke, and for me it is just an insult. So those are among the things we will deal with to make sure that we have a level playground when it comes to elections. People are not being influenced by what they have been given. You have asked about coalitions, whether I am ready to work with other like-minded people. Of course, I will be ready to work with like-minded people on one condition: that we meet, we agree on my vision. We want to enforce the law, make sure that the constitution is implemented, make sure that crime is punished, so that we eliminate impunity, and make sure that we fight corruption head on. I believe if we succeed on those two, the rest of the other challenges will fall into place. So we are ready to work with those who have those kind of views. If they don't have those views, I will find it very difficult to work together with them, because then they will pull me back, or they will sabotage the what the vision that I have. And I want Kenyans to support me by electing people who are going to have those kind of views, to fight corruption head on, and to make sure that everybody obeys the law. And of course, all the other things will fall into place. Just you asked about winning elections, whether I mean, apart from the Gen Zs, who am I working with? The Gen Zs, I am, of course, the Gen Zs, and I'm grateful to them. They have identified with me. But the Gen Zs are parents. In fact, some of the parents of the Gen Zs are already talking to me and telling me that, look, our children are supporting you, and we are fully in support, because we ourselves, even without them, wanted to support anybody who is going to bring fundamental change to the governance of our country, so that I mean, Kenya enjoys the fruits of their struggle. So I have quite a number of middle level professionals who have assured me that they are going to support me. How have I come to this? I have met quite a number of groups. I've met groups of lawyers, and I am going to meet some in the course of this week. I had a meeting that I was supposed to meet engineers tomorrow, but for one reason or the other, that it is, it's not possible. It has been scheduled to another occasion, and quite a number of other professionals. I am seeking them out, first of all, because I want their views, and secondly, I want them to support me. And quite a number of them have sent me messages to say, look, tell us when you want to come and meet us, and we will be ready to work with you. And you know, quite a number of these middle-level professionals are those people who sometimes even don't vote. Why? A number of them, if they are able to pay their bills, if they are able to pay their mortgages, if they are able to pay their rent, and their children are going to school, and they have some reasonable income, they think that politics is not for them, and they don't want even to be involved. They don't even want to vote. But this time round, I can assure Kenyans that it is not going to be the same. Why? Quite a number of employees have had their pay slips rated. Up to about 40% of what they earn is going to various deductions, and they can't see value for that money. They are themselves saying, look, we must have a change about this. Talk for example, about the housing project. The people who are contributing, the majority of the people who are contributing are not going to get those houses. We want, of course, we want housing for especially for the low class, but not the way it is being done. Not the way it is being done. Something different should be a different kind of model should be employed to empower people to buy houses and live in them. Some of the people whose funding is being deducted already have mortgages, and they are having problems servicing those mortgages as a result of the deductions. So those are among the things we will address, and I'm sure that the middle level executives and professionals are going to support us. You have asked somebody another one question that has been asked about how we are going to reach the people in the villages. Please remember, campaign proper has not started. What I'm doing at the moment is actually having town hall meetings, setting up structures, setting up cells in various constituencies, various counties, so that come the period when campaign is now allowed and in full swing, we are going to go to every part of the country to appeal to those in the villages, those who are not able to listen to us on platforms like this, and appeal to them and tell them what we are going to do for them. And I am convinced that if my brothers and sisters are sisters, so that we are able to reach everybody, we are going to win this election with a landslide, because we are going to address the challenges the Kenyans are meeting. Thank you.
Sante sana, sante sana. Folks, don't forget, friends, if you believe in Kenya that is reset, restored, and built with justice, dignity, and accountability, then join this movement. Go to donations at davidmaraga.com. Every contribution counts, whether it is 50, 150, or 500. It is safe, fast, and secure. We have M-Pesa there. We have Stripe. We have PayPal options are available. Your support will help amplify the voices of everyone. And I'm looking for about 100 people to match my 5,000 donation tonight from both TikTok and Twitter. CJ, there is a question coming in from someone here. He says, Justice Maraga, the government new panel on victim compensation has been criticized as unconstitutional, lacking statutory authority, functioning more as a political cover-up than path to justice. Kenya has walked this path before with the Waki report, the TJRC, the Dungu report, the Akimi report, even the BBI and NATCO, all which promise restitution and accountability, but were shelved, leaving victims forgotten and perpetrators in power. If victim compensation is to have meaning, it must not just address recent protests, but also historical injustices like the Kisumu massacre, the Wagala massacre, post-election violence, 1997, 2000, and 2017. So the question is, how will you ensure that any process of compensation or justice under your leadership is not selective or politicized? And it finally breaks the cycles of report gathering dust while victims remain buried in mass graves. Santi.
Thank you very much. I have criticized this, the task force that has been set up by President Ruto. First of all, look at the composition. It is people from his office who are there. Who are, the chair is somebody who is already in his office. What kind of fairness do you expect from, a body that is led by the same people? And as it has been said, you've quite correctly put it. This compensation is focused on those who were injured recently, those who were killed recently. What about the previous ones? The rand injustices, the past injustices that have been there, that have never been addressed. I mean, it is all a joke, as you have correctly put it. This is hoodwinking the Kenyans to forget about what has happened. One other thing you should also bear in mind: if these people are serious and to address the issues that happened during the recent demonstrations, why are they proceeding with the cases of the young people who are in court, whom they have come up with Trump charges of terrorism? I have said more than once that it is not these young people who have committed any terrorist charges. It is the government which is terrorizing them with those, Trump charges. So compensation, first of all, should not even be considered before justice is done to the victims of the demonstrations. Have they? Has anybody been held accountable? Has anybody been held accountable? Nobody has been arrested and charged with the offenses of abduction. Nobody has been charged with the offenses of murder or injury. Even if you are going to compensate these people, first of all, that body, as I have said, is from the office of the president. It is not going to be objective. This compensation should be done by the judiciary. Let the claims of these people. In fact, if there is anything that should be done, that task force should do, is to identify the victims, and tell them to file claims in court, and the court will impartially, give compensation. I hope if they don't disregard that, go ahead and give them some token payment and say that is compensation. That cannot serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Asante sana. So before we switch on to the other to the people on TikTok, I'll pick around four more questions. Mizani, then Ronyo, then Joe, and then Dr. Mofo. Mizani, you have something?
Abdi, you can roll on with someone else because Mizani is kind of busy. He just texted me, but then
Okay.
guys, remember that first of all, for this campaign to be a success, we all need your support, yeah. And so we are going to have our political and town hall engagement in Mombasa next week. And so we have our pay bill and also the website. So the pay bill is 4164137. I mean, Abdi, you can just write it up, and then the account number is still the same as the pay bill. But then you can still go to davidmaraga.com, and then you'll be able to donate from that platform. But still, I've been able to post a QR code whereby if you are a digital guy like me and Abby, then you can be able to scan that QR code and it will take you direct to the website to ensure that you donate to that I mean campaign. And so I want to see anybody who can match up this 5,000 donation, because honestly from my side I'm going to ensure that I match his donation. So it's a challenge. After you can roll it up.
Thank you. Ronyo, pick it up, and then we go to Brian, and then we go to Joe, and then we go to Mofo.
Hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Ronyo.
Thank you so much. I just, in the interest of time, I just have two questions to ask the CJ. One is an audit debt. So what is he going to do about the audit debt? Because he has mentioned that the current government, the blood-based government, has taken more than 3 trillion in 3 years that they have been in office. Another one is on what is his take on the current deputy president? Is he holding the office legally or illegally? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Then we can pick a few more other questions. There's a hand up. This is Osoro. Go ahead, and then we can go to Mofo.
Okay. Thank you for the chance.
Hello.
Hello. Are you getting me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a simple question to the CJ David Maraga. My question is simple. He is the immediate former CS of the nation, CJ of the nation of the judiciary. Yeah, he has been serving the judiciary for a quite number of time. But again, the judiciary is ranked as the most third corrupt organ of the government in Kenya currently. Yet is the former CJ. What are the reforms that he had put in place to shield the judiciary from the corrupt cartel? Again, the second question: do you think that if we choose him or elect him as the president, will he fight the corruption if he failed in the judiciary? Thank you.
Thank you. Mofo, are you there?
Thank you, Abdi. Thank you, KOT, and also Emeritus CJ. Thank you for your time. It takes courage for you to offer your position, or rather your candidature. We highly appreciate that. I also appreciate your incredulous professional career. Uh, Mr. CJ, you realize that Kenyan politics is one that is characterized with bare knuckle kind of confrontation. It is combative, and I would expect you to be persuasively brutal as you take on the political heavyweights and as you convince us to vote for you. Straight to my question, Mr. CJ. If we tether you in a room with 4 candidates, people who have offered themselves for the position, that is Fred Matiang'i, Rigathi, and Gachagua, and we expect you to agree on one person. One, would you be ready? 2, if a condition is given that you vote for one person other than yourself, who would you vote for and why? The next question is, are you convinced, like I am, that Mr. William Ruto has been gross violation of the Constitution? He is a criminal, and would you be ready to take the route that has been taken by the president of DRC, Felix Tshisekedi, to suspend the immunity that exists for Mr. William Ruto to be prosecuted and possibly sentenced to jail? The last question is, you served as a chairman in the task force for reforms of the police. What mechanism did you put in place to stop police brutality and perpetration of state violence? What is that one thing you recommended that you think Mr. William Ruto has not done, and that's why there's perpetuity in police brutality? Thank you. I'll sit my position, my
Thank
bench,
you.
and I hope everyone does the same so that more other people are able to ask questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bonnie, your hand was up. You had a follow-up question before we cycle back to the CJ and we go to the
Yes.
TikTok team.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. 1 minute and then we switch over. Thank you.
Awesome. So I wanted to follow up on the response that he gave because quite frankly, I don't think he provided any more details. I want to present a couple of data points to help you understand why I'm asking this question, Honorable Maraga. Our country this year is going to spend 4.3 trillion. That's our budget. We can only raise 2.5 trillion as a country. So that is 60% of what we are going to spend. In other words, we are going to borrow 40% of our budget. Out of the 2.5 trillion that we're going to raise as a country, we are going to spend 1.9 trillion in debt service alone. Okay, so debt service, we spend more on debt service more than any national interest, more than education, more than national security, more than healthcare, more than infrastructure, more than anything else. This year, our debt service at 1.9 trillion is going to be about 75% of our revenue as a country. So every shilling we bring in as a country, we put aside 75 cents to deal with debt service. Since 2014, our country has never had a balanced budget. So every single year we are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. The average Kenyan citizen has no idea why we are borrowing this much money because it has not improved our standard of living. The average Kenyan makes about 20,000 a month. That was largely true if you go back 10 years ago. There's no infrastructure. Healthcare services have not improved. Education has not improved. The point is, we are borrowing a lot of money to sustain this government. What is your diagnosis of this issue and how would you fix it? Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie, and thank you. Why I give you to go quick and then less than a minute.
Let me go before Mike because mine is similar to Bonnie.
Who is that?
It's me, Ibrahim. Mine is just a comment to add on Bonnie's because Bonnie basically asked my question.
Okay.
Just to add on Bonnie's comment, I think one part that he was wrong is the 75% of the 100 shillings, for example, 75 shilling goes to debt. It's not actually debt, it's recurrent expenditure. And for the recurrent expenditure, it includes a lot. That's basically the spending on running the government, the day-to-day cost. Examples of it is basically salaries for civil servants, teachers, police, pension, our emeritus CJ included. And I believe even if we were to remove Ruto and we leave that office blank, the country will still run the same because for every 100 shillings, 75 goes to recurrent expenditure. There's nothing any president has done in regards to that. And if we do not tackle that, we don't even need a president. It can be an automated presidency because the only thing the country gets is 25. And I call it the great wealth transfer. The entire country working for the small few in the government. Thank you. And I want to commend the CJ for his campaign style.
Asante sana, Ibrahim. And just the official donation link is now pinned right here. DonationDavidMaraga.com. Friends, it's your moment to put words into action. Every contribution, no matter what the size, is a seed planted for Kenyans Reset. Let's show that campaign is powerful by the people, for the people. Donate the part in history making. Asante sana. Moi, I give you, and then we switch back to the other team, Mizani.
Evening, everyone. Pleasure to have everyone around. First thing I'd like to say that as an advocate, when I write my documents, we always refer to David Maraga as he was then and in the Court of Appeal. He was actually a very good judge. His wisdom is seen in his court decisions. So it's a man you can trust. And if you don't believe, download Kenya Law and read his judgments. He was actually a very good judge. Now, to my question to the Honorable Justice, as an advocate, you are aware, and as a judge, you are aware that we always say in court that parties are bound by their terms of contract, and it is not the court's job to rewrite contracts unless there is fraud, undue influence, or coercion. And parties are also bound by affidavits and sworn statements. So my question to the CJ is very specific. Would he be willing, as the CJ and as his team, and every person who's around the campaign trail and his team, eventually when you get elective posts, to agree to sign contracts and to be bound by affidavits that they shall adhere to salary cuts, they shall adhere to certain corruption practices, so that when it comes to removing people who are not following laws, it becomes so much easier, because corruption is a problem, and if we get them to be bound by their own contracts, their own words, and as a judge, his own previous judgments, I believe it would be easier to clean up the country. And my second comment is that you have said that you are willing to have coalitions with other players in the team. However, my question is based on the Bible statement that good company ruins bad morals. I believe it's Corinthians 15, verse 33. We have people who have been accused with body massacres, Rivayala. We have people who, when they entered into government, their corruption cases were dropped. Gashagwa, 6.7 billion. We have people who have past historic corruption cases. Are you still willing to work with bad company so as to endeavor your political agendas, or we can say that we are going to run a clean campaign with no dirty minds involved in it? That is all. I yield my time.
Thank you, Moi. Please continue donating. I see all the donations are being matched. Santi Sana, donation at davidmaraga.com. CJ, I will hand over to you. Please follow each other, and then we can keep this conversation going. Thank you. Over to you, CJ. You can hear me? Mizani, you can hear me?
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first question that was asked by, I believe it was Rono or Ronyo, is on odious debt. How we are going to deal with that, and the cases that some of the cases that have been withdrawn. It is also linked with the ones that have been asked by, is it Bonnie? About debt service and the challenges those have faced. I have said that one of the first things I will deal with is to do an audit on public debt. Quite a fraction of that amount is odious debt. I believe Honorable Senator Mtata has filed a case in court on odious debt, which case we have told him that we are going to support. And when we are able to get evidence and deal with it, that's among the cases that we will have to investigate and get those who took money in borrowing money that didn't come to the projects. Instead, it went to people's pockets. Those people should be followed and action be taken against them and the recovery be made. Because that's where, a lot of problems have emanated from, because of the debt that has been taken now, as you're saying, 75% goes to servicing that. So the best way to deal with that is, first of all, audit it, get those who were involved, and where there is evidence, take them to court. And you know very well that criminal cases have no limitation periods, and we can be able to follow that. The next question is by Osoro, who is saying that there's corruption all over, including the judiciary where I served, and what I'm going to do about it. I have already said corruption is what we are going to face head on. It is not going to be limited to any particular institution. It will be across the board. Quite a number of allegations that are made against judges are there. There are a few where, evidence has been adduced. There are others where, evidence has not been produced, and as a result, they are not able to be prosecuted. So those are among the kind of things we are going to put in place to ensure that if there are any allegations that are made against, say, the judges or the magistrates, we just ask for evidence. And again, the problem is people make allegations and they don't want to come forward and say, look, this judge is corrupt. This is the evidence. You can't send somebody to prison because another person has alleged that he is corrupt. In fact, you will be violating the same law that you want to enforce. I wanted to appeal to Kenyans, including Osoro, come forward with the evidence that you have, and we will take those people to court. Mofo, you have asked about suspending the immunity as it has been done elsewhere. The Constitution is very clear. If the president has committed, and in this case he has violated the Constitution, if you go by the case Honorable Senator Umtata has put in court, he has violated the Constitution more than 20 times. Some of the violations are criminal. If those violations are criminal, as soon as he gets out of office, it's a question of getting evidence against that and take him to court. You don't need to have any suspicion, because if you are dealing with cases of violation, cases of criminal cases, you must follow the law. So that, in this case, the Constitution provides that as soon as the president gets out of office, his immunity ends, and they can be taken to court and prosecuted. You also asked about what I put in the recommendations in the police task force. Among the recommendations we made is that the services like the CAD be empowered, and actually recruitment be done of graduates who have qualified, who can be trained and do thorough investigations, so that the cases that are complicated are properly investigated. When they come to court, there is evidence to support them, and the people are convicted, and of course face the law as they are required to. The other recommendation that we made is with regard to the appointment of the IG and the senior police officers. We have said in those recommendations that recruitment in the country is supposed to be competitive. We have recommended the repealing of the act that was enacted in 2015 to give the president powers to pick the person to be appointed IG and take his name to parliament. Once that act is repealed, that provision is repealed, we will revert to the Constitution. The Constitution simply says all public positions are to be competitively filled, including those of the police officers, especially the very senior ones, and especially on promotion. So, if the president were serious, when IG Kome resigned, he should have followed that recommendation in the appointment of the current IG, which he didn't do. We are waiting to see, and for us, we did our work and made the recommendations. One of the other problems we addressed is the training of the police officers themselves. the training is not enough, especially on human rights abuse. We made specific recommendations as to what kind of training they should be given so that they are able to serve properly. Bonnie, you said I didn't address quite correctly what issues or what measures I will take to deal with the issues of the economy. As I said, I mean, this is work in progress, and you can't cover all the aspects of the economy. If you are quite right in saying that debt service is a huge problem. Now, according to you, which takes about 75% of what we earn. I said one thing we are going to address is to get audit of the public debt, and where possible, restructure the repayment of the public debt, so that we have some money is released to the economy to serve and be invested in various projects that will reactivate the economic activities that have gone dormant. You know very well that recommendations reports have been made. The first one of the ones I saw is by African Development Bank, which has a report showing that the country loses about $1.5 trillion to corruption every year. EACC itself has said that we lose about 7.8% of the GDP to corruption. If we can seal the loopholes, the corruption loopholes, that are there in both wastage of the way the public funds are utilized, I believe we will get quite a reasonable amount of money to redirect to various service activities, and that will also reform the economy. It is not one thing that one is going to do that will change everything. There's quite a number of things that will need to be done, and as I said, this is work in progress, so that we are enabled to get funding to deal with the issues that are now quite sticky. Council Mwai, you put two questions. You said parties are bound by their contracts, of course, and the courts don't rewrite contracts. If I got you correctly, you were saying, are you going to ensure that the contracts are respected and enforced? Of course, the contracts, we will have to reinforce them. I didn't get your question when you talked about salary cut, whether we are going to come up with the salary reductions. That will be a policy issue that will be considered, and of course we will do whatever we can to get the government to save wherever it can save, so that it is able to offer its services to people. I mean, quite a number of areas are suffering. Health is suffering. Education is suffering. Whatever amount we can save from wastage, it will be, a big deal to save and assist the country. You also asked about who I am going to work with. I don't want to name names. What I said is this: I will have to get people who are ready to join me in the vision I have for this country. What I have for this country is a fundamental reform of our government, of our governance system. That fundamental reform will have to be done by people who are ready to uphold the law, who are ready to fight corruption. And of course, whoever you are going to work with, you must look at who he is. That you are going to work with. Is he going to be a man of his word? If he says, let's work together, is he going to support you in what you have? So as I've said, we need to work with people, and I'm sure there are going to be quite a number of people elected who are going to be involved in fundamental change to the governance system of our country, so that we cut down, we eliminate corruption and enforce the law, and quite a number from that, quite a number of things will fall into place.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Keep sending your donations. I can see the donation is up there, davidmaraga.com, and you will see chaotic. You can still share the M-Pesa number. That's what the people are asking. And we will do three more. We'll take three more questions, and then
Abdi,
yeah.
Abdi, I wanted to cut you short because we also stream. Okay, time,
Yeah, that's
and
what
also
I'm
we are
saying to the other
streaming
side.
on the other platform. So I think we can be able to get maybe two more from TikTok, because our TikTok friends, honestly, they've been asking to be given a chance. And
Yes, please go
so,
ahead.
as we prepare them to ask their question, of course, we also want to remind you that our donation our donation link is on my Jumbotron. So just get to tap in, and then you'll be able to be taken to the donation page on the website. Otherwise, Eli, on the other
Give
side, are
Moi
you able to?
give Moi Council Moi the M-Pesa the pay bill number. Thank you.
Okay, I'll actually put it up here, and then I'll be able also to send him, because I have his direct link. Otherwise, our friends on TikTok, our pay bill number is 4164137, and then our account number is the same as the pay bill number. So it's 4164137. Otherwise, you can still be able to donate through the official website, that is donations.davidmaraga.com. So the pay bill again is 4164137, which is same as the account number. So are we able to get some more insight from TikTok, Eli?
See there? Mizani, are you there?
Okay, just a minute.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll read a few questions for the CJ as we wait for Eli. Justice Maraga, you are being
Abdi,
asked here. Okay.
Abdi, just a minute, because we are trying to reconnect to the other end. Just a minute. Okay, you can just read the questions, then we are able to go back to TikTok. Just be
Yeah.
able to read.
Okay. Okay. I'll just read a quick one that's coming. Justice Maraga, given the principles of institutional independence, do you believe it is appropriate for the head of professional bodies to simultaneously serve as vice chair of a panel appointed by the executive, especially when the same body may later be called upon to challenge the panel legality in court? Does this not compromise the body watchdog role against the executive overreach? Thank you.
Okay, so he'll just answer the question after getting responses from TikTok side. So let us listen from the TikTok side. Eli?
Thank you, Mabonga. So we are trying to also get our team that is joining us on live on TikTok. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making time to be here. We are having the CJ with us, probably asking and answering the hard questions. I hate to be the man on the seat, but I love the fact that the man on the seat is ready to answer those questions. A lot of you have been asking questions on to the issues on corruption. There's also some of you saying one time, I don't know what it's all about, but our own, if you can deal with corruption, everything else will be well. That is according to Danson Ngera, And to that effect, I want to now welcome one of the speakers who is joining us live on TikTok. If you can hear me, blue icon, I would love to have you joining us, and kindly unmute your mic and proceed. Going once, proceed.
Yes, thank you, host, for giving me this, that we are here to shape the country and the leaders of this country. I have some questions for the CJ, then there I'll give some recommendations. Question number one. Looking at the finance report, the auditor's report, as at June 2025, Kenya had borrowed up to the tune of 11.8 billion Kenyan shillings. For the 3 years that President Ruto has been in office, he has borrowed more than what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. Now, based on that, my question is, do you feel like the economy of this country has gone the right direction? Looking at, citing at the economic parameters, all indicators, do you feel, you as the CJ, that our economy, the way they are saying, the president is bragging, the economy of this country, has it grown or it is affected in a negative way? Looking at the income per capita and the GDP. Question number two, suppose you get this job, how will your cabinet look like? Citing at the article 201, 226 of the Constitution, which talks of the public finance, are you going to misuse resources the way the president is doing in terms of empowering people who are above 70 years and also empowering teachers in the state house? Also, Article 1, Article 27 of the Constitution about tribalism. We've seen the CEOs of the parastatals. 9 of them come from Kalenjin community. So the Constitution allows and gives us the right that every person has a right to equal benefits and protection. How are you going to scale up this? Another question, how are you going to create employment for these many of our youths who graduate from universities and they are jobless? And you know that these are the people who really called you upon to rescue us. Another question, you have a political party. Another one, are you going now, if you become the 6th president of this republic, are you going to invest in short-term projects or long-term projects the way Ruto is doing it? And then the last one now, of all the 270 promises that President Ruto gave us, he has only managed to deliver only 14. So my recommendation is, looking at your manifesto, are you going to give us many things that you are sure that you are not going to get? Then now, back to Kisiland, Matiang'i is also vying for presidency. You're also vying for presidency. Now, and you know, we are talking of tribal arithmetic and numbers. Numbers don't lie. In Kisii, if the portal of IBC 2022 presidential elections, Kisii managed to vote, they were only 611,000. Now you and Matiang'i vying for presidency. Is it like now you are going to split the votes, and you are aware that Kisii and Nyamira, they are just swing counties? And another thing, the recommendation now, I feel, because I love you and I know you are a man of truth, you like justice and you honor the Constitution. It is written and it is well known that you respect the rule of law. Now, it is my recommendation that if you can get other guides, like now Gashawa, work closely with them. The Akina Natembea, Kalonzo, will remove this animal from office. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Which one? Which one? There is. Let me start with the one which was asked about institutional independence and the appointment of some heads of those institutions to bodies that will create conflict. What I can say about that is that first of all, that appointment is in itself wrong. And if I mean, the appointing authority must be aware that when he appoints anybody from such an institution, there is going to be a conflict of interest. And I believe that kind of appointment is intentional, is deliberate. This is somebody who is expected to deliver, on whatever is required to do. The conflict of interest notwithstanding. Those are among the wrong things that are being done. And as a result, we have institutional capture. And quite a number of things are going wrong because of those kind of appointments. The person who is being appointed himself should decline and say, look, I can't serve in this appointment because it's going to be a conflict of interest. But they are not doing that. And those are the reasons, those are among the reasons we are coming to this, to the political scene, so that we can correct those kind of illegalities that are being committed. Blue icon? You have asked very many questions. Some of them are comments. You are quite right in saying that the auditor's report shows that in less than 3 years, Ruto has borrowed more than what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. That is the kind of borrowing. What is informing all this borrowing is a lot of wastage, a lot of a lot of money going into corruption. If all those loopholes were sealed, he would not need to borrow as heavily as he has borrowed. So how to deal with that is to ensure that we deal with corruption head on and seal as many of those loopholes as we can, so that we have a lot of money left to the economy. You have seen scandals that have come to the media, and of course those are the ones which have come to the media. There are many more that have not come to the media. The amount of money that is being stolen is running into billions. So if we can save from there, we will be able to offer services to Kenyans and serve them as they are required to be served. You've talked about the size of the cabinet. I have talked about this already. With the you have quite correctly said that the kind of votes one should expect from Kisi will be about, in 2022 it was 611,000. Even if it rises to 1 million, of course those who are registered are more than those who voted. Even if it rises to 1 million or 1.5 million, that will still not be enough. And of course, I'm going to expect it to be elected or to be voted for from all parts of the country. So I'm not relying on the Kisi vote alone. The Kisi vote will be among those who will vote for me, and we will depend on. We will win by votes coming from every part of the country. You have also asked about about, my brother Matiangi. I mean, he has offered himself, I have offered myself. It is for you, the voters, who will decide who you are voting for. That one, I can't say anything more than that. You asked about the employment of the Gen Zs. What I'm going to do about it, I've already answered this question. I said there are quite a number of economic activities that the Gen Zs are involved in, especially in the creative economy. And I've said we are going to support that, identify those who come up with innovations and support them, and those who go into business activities, get them supported, and those who are able to tender. We can even get policies that get some of those tenders and ring fence them for the youths so that they are able to also come up. You have talked about parastatal, parastatal heads headed by one community. I really don't need to tell you that that is wrong. Those are among the things we will correct. The law is very clear. Appointments must have regional balance. Appointments must have gender and the people with the disabilities. So when you talk about regional balance, you're going to have to get everybody from everywhere. Of course, merit comes first, and then those other considerations are dealt with. I think those are the questions you asked. You said, you have said that Ruto gave, is it more than 270 promises, and he has only fulfilled 14. We are going to give promises that we are going to fulfill. We are not going to give Kenyans promises which are not visible and we are not going to fulfill. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. KOT, we have, yeah.
Maybe if you allow me, update. Thank you. That was the CJ speaking to us, and quite a number of topics he's been able to cover. A lot of questions still streaming in from the TikTok platform, but we are out of time, and we'll have to allow the CJ to take some leave and keep the questions flowing. And if any engagements you'll have to have in the future, we'll definitely be willing to come up with a team and request at the request of CJ Meritus to have this conversation. But that said, CJ, there was a question about long or short-term projects. What would be in for you? Quick one.
Long or short-term projects? In administration. In the administration. It depends on what you are thinking. There are some areas where you need long-term projects. There are others where to correct ills that are there, you may come with short-term projects. So it all depends on what is required. But we will take the interest of the nation, as the only criteria. That is to determine what kind of policy you are taking.
Okay, thank you so much, CJ, and of course, our colleagues from TikTok and even on this X platform. We won't take you for granted. You've spent time with us. So before the CJ exits, and then we can proceed with our conversation, we would like the CJ to give us the final word, of course, just a final word. And of course, also remind the comrades in Mombasa that we are coming there, so they should expect us.
I'm hoping the CJ will be taking his swimming costume, right?
Yeah, yeah. KOT. Yeah, I will also take the opportunity to thank the CJ for sharing his journey, his vision, and his reflection with us tonight. I think your words have given Kenyans much to think about as they weigh in the future of our country. I also want to sincerely thank all our speakers who raised very important questions also, and every listener who joined us from here across the diaspora. Your voices and participation really make this conversation meaningful. I think we have touched on integrity, the rule of law, economy and jobs and corruption, health, education and unity, inclusion. These are not just political taking points. They are the daily struggles of Kenyans. They remind us that leadership must always be about service, accountability and hope, I think. And as before, as you exit, I think let's stay engaged, let's continue asking these questions, and let's continue donating to davidmaraga.com. Asante sana. Over to you, CJ.
Thank you very much, Abdi, and thank you very much, our viewers and those who are listening from various parts of the world. I have offered myself to come and lead this country. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, I am not coming here to enrich myself. I want to give you my assurance that when I come to this position of president of this country, I will be content with the salary that is offered to that office. I will not allow my family to trade with the government. I will not allow my friends to trade with the government. If it is tenders, they will be given out to everybody. Anybody who wants to tender will have to do it through the process that has been set there. Trust me, Kenyans. Please trust me. I will not steal from you. I will not allow anybody to steal from you. I will take care of the funds that you will place in my hands. And with that, we will also ensure that the law is followed. And with following of the law and dealing with the corruption, I trust quite a number of things will fall into place. Of course, it is not going to be overnight. It will take time. But if we deal with that and deal with that family, we will be able to save a lot of money and be taken to, be redirected to the areas where it will be required. If there is any, I have seen, as I talked about the empowerment projects, we are not being told where this money is coming from because there is no budget. All I have said is, and I'm sure I'm right, this is coming from stolen funds that have come. If I am going to be involved in any Arambe, when I'm president, it will have to come from my salary. It will not come from public coffers. Because that is stealing from the public and giving it to other, to projects. Any Arambe donations that I will give will come from my salary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, CJ Maraga. And of course, we as Kenyans and most of us do wish you all the best because we believe that this country deserves, good governance, accountability, and of course, transparency. And we do believe in your service. So let me just take it back to Abdi. Or what do you think, Eli, from your end?
I think we first must congratulate the CJ for coming on board and being very generous with his ideas of what the country wants to lead. Also the fact that he's very open-minded to suggestions and the fact that he's actually promised to go and swim in Mombasa. So that will be a great test for him so that you can know the CJ can actually be cool under the waters, chini ya maji. Anyway, that said, we have had a great session here. And those of you who have been streaming on TikTok, we apologize we can't have more speakers, but your comments are well noted. We'll be able to go through the thread, and if there are any other extreme recommendations that we will borrow, we'll definitely take. Any critic is also welcome. And that said, Shakira, maybe from your end, anything from your side?
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate your time and energy shared this evening. Let us be the vessel that pushes a people's president to that seat in order to serve us. The CJ is promising us servant leadership, and he cannot get there by himself. It is up to us to ensure that we deliver him to that position so that he can serve us. Also remember that the president won't be able to serve just as the president alone. So while we continue to campaign for good servant leadership at the presidential position, We also need young progressive leaders to come and support the CJ in other positions, from the MCAs, MPs, governors, senators, women rep. It all has to be a good change of system. Tukisema tunafagia wote ama drain the swamp, this is what we mean. We can't just be looking at one position. Kenya is ripe for good leadership, and it is up to us to deliver this leadership. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Shakira, from your end. Say hi to TikTok, guys. We'll be back soon. So, Abdi, on your end, and of course, remind our fellow listeners that we do have the donation link there.
Thank you. KOT, I have nothing much to add. I think let's emphasize this campaign is not about one individual. It's about the people taking back their power. That's why we're calling it. It's people driven. It's people driven. Every shilling we raise is a proof that Kenyans are ready to fund and change themselves, not rely on the old network of corruptions and big money. So I urge everyone listening to go to the pin link donation at davidmaraga.com. Give what you can. Let's show this reset is fueled by ordinary Kenyans united for a new beginning. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. And KOT, I think our job is done here, and we can release the CJ. The CJ has to go and take care of business. Yes, right? Na nimenotice yeye kitu anakunywa ni maji kwa wingi. So you guys are in safe hands. He was your driver. Mnajua mkipanda ile gari yenyu ya kufika Kisii ama Kakamega ama ni wapi, it will arrive safely. And that is what we want for this country. Unless we have any other major concerns, Mr. KOT, I think it's time for us to call it a night. Maybe a few more.
Yeah, we can have, of course, a few comments. And I can see Flavia has been here for so long, honestly. Can we have some few comments, and then we can call it a day or a night, wherever you are tuning on from?
Sorry, my mic had a challenge. Thank you so much, and thank you for having this session. I am very happy that we have a leader who tumesikia anakunywa maji peke yake, although pia tumesikia mwingine anakunywa maji, but we are hopeful this one is different. But truthfully, I think I am happy to see a leader that we can see their morality being in line with the faith that they profess. I think that is a very big thing. And then additionally, also as a lawyer, to know that he stands for the rule of law, and that is what is ailing the country majorly. So I am happy to see that we have that in him, and we hope, given a chance, that will trickle into the system. So maybe just a small comment to add on that. I had a question, but I think I will push it to the next session. Just a small comment that I am sure you plan to organize many more sessions as such, and I'm sure you plan to do more distribution of information on what you intend to do to the people, so that we can have someone who says and does. What I would advise is maybe just a thought. Whatever is going wrong in Kenya is not a one person's problem. It's a people's problem. It's a morality problem. And consequently, it has trickled into being a systems problem. So as you address maybe some of our inquiries as you plan to go through your campaign, you can have a strategy and speak on how you're going to handle the different issues. So for example, if we say the institutions are failing like ESCC, it will be good for you to tell us, I plan to make it better, yes, but then how do I plan to make it better? I will change this person, I will change this person, I will change that, so that whatever you're saying, there is feasibility behind your intent. And I think that is something that we can comfortably back. So thank you so much. It's good to have someone who professes something and we can see it through their acts. Thank you so much, and thank you for the team for organizing this. Abdi?
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Flavia. Abdi, kindly back to you, because I'm unable even to see the screen, honestly. So I'm unable to call any person to the microphone.
Maura, can you pick it up? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Bwana CJ Maraga, for coming here, and you have shown your true leadership is about humility And for me, it was just something I just wanted to give you some kind of saying that I would like when you get to power that we open the TRJC report that has been running there in State House. Do you have kama ina machugu mengi? So everybody should rest in peace and everything should be put in the right of what took place. Again, I've had somebody from TikTok ask how is CJ Maraga going to settle to work about the joblessness that is happening in Kenya? A lot of these are jobless. I would like to advise those people that it's not the duty of the government to offer jobs. It's the duty of the government to create a conducive environment for investors to come and create the employment. And what I wanted to ask CJ Maraga, but he has already gone, whether he will be willing to implement the 10% Maputo declaration that should be allocated to agriculture, which means like our budget was 4.2 trillion, which means 420 billion should have gone to agriculture, but only 78 went to agriculture. Because if we have to create jobs for these young people, it has to come from two areas: agriculture and manufacturing, and those are the two things that take everybody. If we can just get that one right, number one, we lower the cost of licenses. A lot of licenses should be done away with. Number two, we lower the cost of power. You see our neighbor Ethiopia there. Power we are buying at 0.011 US cents. In Kenya is 0.175 cents. That's about 15% more than in Kenya. So, which means a lot of people are going to run to Ethiopia. Kenya will become a warehouse. And number three, they should offer incentives. That means he can have a duty-free for importation of agriculture machinery, tractors, machines for industry and such. And number three, he protects farmers. Like now, the government has allowed the importation of 600,000 metric tons of rice, yet in Moya, in Yara, in Bura irrigation scheme, rice is full there, which means now the farmers of Kenya are suffering at the hands of the cattle. So if we can get it right in agriculture and manufacturing, we can do away with about 95% of joblessness of the youth. And agriculture and manufacturing observes everybody, from those who are masters, who have degree holders, to those who are just mere laborers. So if we can get it right in those two areas, CJ Maraga, I'm sure within 5 years tutakuwa tumemaliza hii tatizo ya vijana. This is an area I have expertise in. That's why it's very passionate to my heart. Like now you see they are instead of finishing projects that will gear towards doing that, like the Bakwe Dam, which will be a game changer for 3 counties in Kitui, Makueni, and Machakos, and then Kitui and Machakos County. Instead of them finishing that dam, that will be a game changer for those 3 counties. They are just in mind. That dam has been there, Bakwe Dam, for the last almost 6 years. Some we have been waiting for it to be completed. Nothing is happening. Yet it only requires 4 billion, and they stole 11 billion from e-citizens. Suppose that money could have been allocated to that dam, it could be finished, and hundreds of thousands of jobs could have been created over there. Thank you very much, CJ, and I hope you have taken my points home. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Thank you. Mizani, do you want to take up from there? We have Momanyi, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. I have to take the mic because now, as I can see, I've been raising hand, and I realize that there's no decorum for such. Someone has to be called for him to speak, and unfortunately, it seems I'm a guest here. So my takeaway is that given in Kenya what we need as a concerned citizen, and as a youth, my main challenge is usually that this leadership that we're going to select, and from the take and from the insights of our presidential candidate, who is Honorable Emeritus President, the CJ, is that he has shown us that he's someone who is people-centered, someone who is transparent and accountable. And this one, you have been able to see it, and that one we appreciate. And even from the guys who are on the ground with him, wamesema yeye anachukua maji na si maji ingine, ni maji ya uzima, showing that a man at this age, having retired, there's this culture that we have been seeing in the country, having leaders who, it's their own belief, it's their own, but it's rare to find someone at that age who is ready to take us to the next level. And then there's some question from TikTok, which has been tackled by Maura, is that only regarding that in coming from the same region as Matiang'i, there's going to be some contest on it. We are not at this moment, I think, from the poll that had been done by K24 on X. platform showing that between Ruto and Matiang'i, who's your favorite candidate? And most individuals this did say that none of the above. And this shows us that it's a moment for us, it's a jubilee moment for us to vote in leaders who are people centered, leaders who are willing to take us the next level. Because of these individuals, we have seen them, they have been the government, that but our situation has never changed. Bado tumekuwa huku nyuma. So with the take and the insights and the way only the questions, I believe that we are very ready as a country and as citizens to move forward with such leaders. So I rally everybody for us to select a better leader is by engaging the leader and knowing what vision he shares. But also a challenge to him is that sometimes it's not about what people want. People can want to be bribed, but a country cannot be able to move forward because these guys will like to get some handout for the moment. But what about the generations that are going to come after us? Where will Kenya be? So if we are going to go with the take of the people, what they want at that moment, we may not be able to save our country. We may not be able to go the next step. We may not be able to lay a better foundation for generation to come. So sometimes I would like to challenge you not only to listen to people, but to take the country where it's supposed to be, to take a society and a community where it's supposed to be. Na to my host and everybody, sometimes mtu akiinua mkono, just simple decorum, give him the mic, don't just call out the names, shows how fishy it becomes. And as a nation, mtu akiinua mkono, just give him the space. Thank you so much. Mkuwe na jioni njema na Mungu awe nanyi.
Thank you, thank you. Data analyst, pick it up.
Thank you, Abdi. I had a question for CJ Emeritus. However, I'll ask that question in another platform.
His team is also taking down the questions.
Sorry?
His team is also taking down the questions to him, so you can also put it across if you want.
Okay.
So still go to him.
Okay, I can do that. But first, I want to give a kind of vote of thanks to thank you guys for having this platform. We have really enjoyed, and we look forward to having this kind of conversations going forward. And as you go to Mombasa, my encouragement would be ingieni mashinani. That's where the votes are. Ingieni mashinani. So my question was this. This country is beautiful. It has a beautiful people. It is a beautiful country, but it is also a rich country. However, 2 in 5 people are poor. That's 40% of the population. That's 20 million of the 50 million that we are. So my question to CJ and team is, what would the Maraga government do to reverse these poverty levels? Because when we fix the poverty levels, we fix the economy. Thank you. That's it.
Mizan, KOT?
Yes, I'm here. So we were just taking the final remarks because it's honestly late, and some of us, I mean, some of you needs to wake up for job tomorrow, and of course those who are jobless like me and you, Abdi, of course. We are going to wake up to ensure that we look for a job. So can we take it up from maybe Ronyo?
Ranyo, go ahead. Bonnie, you want to sum up? Justin for all, can you hear me? Or we can just do a closing remark.
Yes, I can hear. I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to really appreciate, everybody. I think there's a lot of engagement. It looks like we have a lot of great questions from the Kenyan people. That sometimes are thrown all over the place. So as I think CJ indicated correctly, that as things start shaping up now, we start getting into the fine details of really what is expected of him and the team, and to address some specific issues. But so far, the engagement and also the creating that availability and his presence is very important. So I want to thank KOT, Mizani, Abdi, as always, great people. Let's continue engaging the public and probably widening the scope of the people that are bringing in different ideas and different thought process in terms of on how the CJ can reach out a wider audience that probably sometimes has different opinions but want to listen to him. So good job, and I know that CJ appreciates the work you do. We appreciate the work you guys do, but you also appreciate the CJ availing himself. It's a time that we are dealing with a different political landscape, as Kenya is one that is used to level of competitiveness, where people think that it's this high octane competitiveness on top of the, on the of the cars. We don't expect that. So I think this is shaping the narrative and showing Kenyans that we can have leaders who don't have to insult others, who don't have to come out there and have to call you the harambe. You don't have to shout. I mean, some of us enjoy the one time and whatever, but you don't have to say it in order to win the hearts of the people. So what I'm seeing is that CJ Maraga brings in a different style, but again with substance and with some clarity of mind that indeed we need to restore Kenya. My prayer is that we restore Kenya together. God bless you. Let's keep doing it.
Thank you. Bonnie?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So, I appreciate the interest that I can tell Kenyans have on interrogating these candidates. I would, the message to me, that we all need to take home is this. The issues that face Kenya are serious. They are big. We want leaders who appreciate where we are as a country. And it's not a must that all politicians must present options, but I think they must all be willing to listen. I am interested in questioning anybody who wants to be a leader in this country about their diagnosis of the issue, because in my view, there is no chance of any policy being implemented when we are spending 75% of all the revenue that we get on debt. This issue is not secondary to any discussion. It's the first thing that has to be resolved. And so I welcome Kenyans to think about that. So question people that want to be your leaders, ask them if the devolution is supposed to help us with services, accountability, and development. But today we are spending 70%, 75% of all our money on the system. What is the point of it? How do you propose that we fix it? If you ask those questions, I think we'll be heading in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we have 10 people to do to match all these donations tonight? Justin for all. Ronyo, we need some people to match on this pay bill 416-4137.
Is there an M-Pesa phone number?
Flavia, you can hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Flavia, Justin, Ronyo, you want to go as we come to close?
Can you hear? Can you hear me, Abdi? I was not hearing anyone.
KOT, you can hear me?
Abdi, can you hear me?
Okay. I think you can hear me, right, Flavia?
Yes, I can hear you. And I can hear
Ronyo, you
Ronyo
wanted to
as
go.
well.
Okay, anyway, we will come to the close of our space tonight. We had very powerful words, had truth, clear conversation of Kenya that can reset on the pillars of justice, dignity, and unity. But talk alone will not change our country. Action is required. This campaign is people driven And that means each of us has a role to play, I think. The official donation link is pinned, donation@davidmaraga.com. Every contribution, no matter the size, is a statement that Kenya is ready for their own future. Let's not leave it to others. Let it give something tonight as we walk together in this journey of renewal. On behalf of the host and everybody here, thank you for your time and voice and your commitments. So don't forget, the pay bill number is 416-4137, account number 416-4137. Over to you, KOT, as we come to close.
Thank you. This is not KOT, of course. It is only gentleman in the planet.
KOT,
Wamesema
Nizani?
tuanze kutoa. Can you hear me? I believe we are having problems with Abdi. But that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Donate to Maraga's campaign because you believe in a different leadership, not because you believe in being mambo tutatenga na kufanya mambo tofauti. This is about a leadership that thinks and believes in resetting and becoming the country that we should have been 60 plus years ago. Again, the pay bill number is 4164137. Account is 4164137, and you can donate to donations.davidmaraga.com. Once you're there, you'll be able to get more instructions on how to send your money. And Justice for All, I'm waiting for your matchup. Once I see the matchup of 10 Gs, I know KOT and I will tutajikaza sisi kama vijana wa mkono tuongeze our 10K. That said, I'll hand over to KOT, who is going to say his final remarks.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. Of course, we are 25 minutes past 10, and our space was to end at 10 p.m. So for those guys in Mombasa, expect us next week. We'll be there. We'll be engaging across the county. I've been there before, and so we know all those panya routes where we'll take the CJ to ensure that he interacts with the locals in Mombasa. So thank you so much, guys. Continue donating. Don't stop. When we end the space, don't stop to donate, because that is the only way we'll be able to get our president in Mombasa to ensure that he interacts with the residents. Thank you so much. Otherwise, let us